Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode in the year 2026 for our Feng Shui Talk. And today I'm very excited to have our master over here, Marrco, that has been in this trade for the past 25 years and has helped more than 600 families to achieve financial freedom, better wealth, and more abundance. And not to forget, we have Terence. Terence is a young and thriving chap who has plenty of experience dealing with his Chinese clients, and all of them love him extremely much because he provides exceptional service in helping them to locate a dream home. So today, since we're going to do a Feng Shui talk, I also want to dive deeper about what project are we going to talk about, and not to forget from the previous webinars that I've been talking about, freehold versus leasehold. We know that the gap between a freehold and leasehold is narrowing, and right now as we speak, we are also spotting that the gap is somewhere about 15 to 17% only. So a lot of clients are actually asking me, should I start focusing a lot on freehold now since the gap is so close that might be a window of opportunity? So the answer I always tell my client is that please don't rush into buying a freehold just because the gap is close, because any one of us who is buying a freehold, most of us are looking at probably a longer term holding. If it's going to be a longer term holding, there are a lot of considerations such as, is the house going to be good for me and my family? Can I hold this for a longer period? Also other things like, is there upside to it, which is something that we can cover in our YouTube videos as well. But what we really want to talk about today is, in terms of Feng Shui, is Terra Hill really the good project that any one of us should be considering, given that right now we know there's a few units that are left that is below 3 million, that is above 1,000 square feet. So Marrco, can you give a little introduction about yourself?
My name is Marrco. I have been doing this Feng Shui practice for the past 25 years. So I started as an enthusiast, picking up skill set along the way, went to Hong Kong to learn from some masters, and even gone to Beijing and teach some students.
You went to Hong Kong to...
I went to Hong Kong to pick up some skill set.
That is new to me.
我要去拜师的
Wow.
and promise to keep it a secret.
天机不可泄露.
I basically use the skill set. I help people with their current home Feng Shui. There is no perfect house, but there will be always solution to help them to enhance their life, various aspects of it, and so on.
Oh, so what made you go into Feng Shui from the beginning?
Curiosity, really out of curiosity. I just want to understand why certain families are doing badly and why certain families are doing so well. Okay, just to cut a long story short, there's this concept called 天地人. Tian is basically who we are, our birthdays. We can't change that. The Di is the place where we stay. 所谓的风水 law. So the Ren is the runway. You want to turn left or you want to turn right, it is still up to you.
True. Everyone is given a choice in life. Whether you make the right choice or the wrong choice, there's always a consequence, right?
Yes, correct.
Interesting. So today we want to use your experience to understand better, like even for me, as I'm looking for my second property, I'm also considering whether should I buy a freehold or not, because why not? The gap is so close. But I also want to hear from you, like in terms of Terra Hill, I'm sure you have done some research about it. You may have your thoughts about Terra Hill, whether is it a good project or not. And it's not just about the project, it's also about the layout. Is it good enough? And are there any things that we should look out for if we are looking for Terra Hill as our option?
Okay, maybe I can share some of the findings that I had just by looking at Terra Hill as itself. Before I go into it, there's two angles to look at. First, the floor plan. Is it squarish? And outside the house, close proximity, is there any kind of schools, hospitals, petrol stations, etc.? Because it has a direct impact on the feng shui in the house. When I was looking at the map, after looking at the map itself, I saw some very good features outside the house. Before I talk about what is in the house, I especially like some of the features, especially in the southwest sector, as well as the east sector, and of course the northwest sector. There's a hill behind the project itself at the northwest and the north direction. It's especially good for the northwest because northwest represents the man of the house. First layer. Second layer, it can represent your authority in your work, and of course it represents financial resources. You have a hill, a mountain right beside the northwest sector.
靠山啊，靠山。
我们所谓的靠山 So there's a good support as far as the northwest sector is concerned. When I talk about the southwest, in the map, I saw two features. Pasir Panjang MRT, within 350 meters away from the project itself. Pasir Panjang MRT is an earth element by itself. And then there's a petrol station inside the southwest sector as well. So the petrol station 打油站就所谓的五行火 fire element. And the southwest is basically an earth sector. So we have the fire, 火生土, 还有土土比旺. You can expect the lady of the house staying within the southwest sector to do well.
I'm sold already. Are you? Who wouldn't want to buy a house that the guy is good and the female owner is also good?
I'm just sharing a little bit of a sampling. Obviously, there are other sectors as well. Maybe I want to share a little bit as far as investment or staying for yourself. If you happens to be seriously wanting to buy this project, the house doesn't wait for you. It's the house that chooses the owners. 不是主人找屋子，是屋子找主人. That's the long and short of it.
That's quite relevant when we are running resale because you also run a lot of resale and
Especially for Chinese clients. A couple of Chinese clients always tell me, 买房子是随缘的. So actually, it's really the unit selecting its owner.
So 如果那个朋友他有这个格局 capacity in life 所谓的格局 and you have been presented by a choice of auspicious properties, if you delay your move, somebody else will have taken your auspiciousness.
one thing I'm very curious is that like for Terence, you have done a lot of resale as well. And this 屋子选人, like the house chooses its next owner. How do you see actually happening? Let's say one of your case.
Recently, actually, I just sold a condo unit in Tampines. So there were like 3 offers. Some needed extension, some didn't. In the end, the buyer who optioned the unit actually had a perfect timeline for it. And she has also been eyeing on that specific development for the longest time. But for the other families, it's not their first options, second, third options. And the timeline, they had to settle for something because the kids' school is starting. They have to move to a bigger unit. And also in terms of pricing wise, some of the people who put out the offer is towards the extreme end of their capacity. But the person who got it is really fits comfortably within
Everything
their
just
budget.
goes smooth.
Yes, everything's just transacted smoothly.
Do you also notice that for whatever reason, the owner also seemed to favor that buyer a bit more?
Yes, out of the 3 offers that we got, the first 2 owner just feel that there's no sincerity. And for the person who actually put up a very decent offer, the owner is very willing to negotiate. And it actually came down very near to the asking price.
It's like looking for your potential spouse and so on. You can try very hard, but if it's not meant for you, you won't get to stay in it.
That's true. So sometimes as agents, right, we also have to believe in this, as much as we are very logical and whatever religion we are at, we also see this happening on the ground. Like what you mentioned, the negotiation process or the owner for whatever reason just prefer to sell to this buyer and everything will just be smooth. Or like even we want to buy, let's say, a new launch. Some of my clients, they want to buy certain unit, but they try their best to faster sell off their house so that they are in time for the unit they want to buy. Then later realize that the moment they start to put up the unit for sale, the unit that they want to buy is gone.
Yes. Also, just a side story, for the unit that I just sold, the owner actually did a sharing with me that he realized once he moved in since 2018, everything is very soon for him. Career progression, kids are all doing well, kids just got PSLE result, and went to a very good IP school. And his neighbor on top and below also got their PSLE result. One went to Hwa Chong, the below one went to Raffles Girls.
Which means the
Yes.
tea must be good, right? In terms of the Feng Shui aspect.
For career and the kids.
Yeah, which project?
The Santorini at Tampines.
Hey guys, if you want to buy a good tea, correct?
By relating to Terence's question, he was saying about the example of children doing well academically. In this case, as far as Feng Shui is concerned, the south sector of your floor plan is likely to be very well supported. How do I mean by that? Probably your kitchen is located in the south sector of the floor plan itself. How about those who are not doing well academically? The south has a problem because the toilet is most likely to be located in the south sector.
Okay.
其实风水很简单的。As long as you have a proper floor plan by itself, just by looking at the floor plan by itself, if you find that your floor plan does not look squarish, L-shape, irregular shape, 所谓的 missing areas, you have a problem as far as the missing area is concerned. So most of the people, they ask me, how to know or what mean by inauspicious Feng Shui home? 简简单单的说, if you have been staying there for 2-3 years, you have experienced relationship breaking down, your career is not going on smoothly, you have financial cash flow issues, your children are misbehaving, or you yourself does not feel the drive, your house Feng Shui is likely to have a problem. How about an auspicious home? You can immediately feel what Terence has just mentioned. Your children is likely to do well academically. Obviously, there's more advanced details to share. Why not I share it now? There's 8 directions in your floor plan, 360 degrees. This 360 degrees is equivalent to the 12 Chinese zodiac years. The Chinese zodiac, which we are going to go into this year, is the horse, the fire horse year. So if your south sector is missing, you're likely to have a terrible year. Or if your south sector outside has a swimming pool, you are also likely to have a problem.
It changes year on year, is it?
Every year is a different animal sign. 它每年都不一样的嘛。明年就是一个 goat year 嘛 and subsequently monkey years and so on. It's always a clockwise basis, but based on the 12 animal signs.
Okay.
So 每年它的方位 our floor plan is always moving clockwise as far as the feng shui qi is concerned. So when the qi ends up in the area which is missing, you have a problem.
This is not easy to understand, but I'm sure anyone who is watching here right now, you should be opening up your floor plan and drawing up the key parts of your house and drawing the north, south, east, west and trying to figure out which one is good and which one is not.
It's not difficult actually, not difficult. You just have to pick up a proper floor plan of your existing current place. You stand right at the middle, you assume you're standing in the middle of the floor plan. You take out your phone, the digital compass. You just have to do a measurement of your main door. Point your phone at the main door, what direction is that? And from there, you can establish the 8 directions in the house. Hopefully, there
Now you
are
are
no
learning.
missing sectors.
We are all learning. And then we don't know how to read. Then come to who? Come to him.
Come to Marrco. Basically, what Marrco just covered is the broader term. So we also know that sometimes the house owner's 生辰八字 might also affect the feng shui aspect of it.
Yes.
So whatever you just mentioned, is it more applicable to almost everyone or also depending on their 生辰八字?
生辰八字 has a direct correlation to the type of house you're staying. 我们所谓的格局啊. So you expect millionaires, billionaires to be staying in GCBs or landed properties. But that does not mean that they will have a good life, provided there are no missing sectors. 你也要看那个地. But to continue from this angle, I would argue that actually it is not our 生辰八字 that determines what kind of residential properties we'll be staying in.
Okay.
因为你还有你的老婆、你的老公、你的孩子、你的佣人、你的父母亲等等. How are you going to use which 生辰八字 to buy what house?
There's a lot of aspect to it.
Yeah.
It's not a one-dimensional topic by itself.
So that's why when we do resale, we have a lot of experiences with resale. I can resonate very well. Because when he mentioned 格局, right, I have seen clients that deep down in them, they want to make it in life. And they try their best to go into investment, go into anything that the friend recommend them, hoping that they could have a windfall or a 出人头地 moment. But they just cannot. They're just stuck in where they are at and they just cannot come out, even though they are very pleasant, nice people. And then the other side of things we are seeing is a very simple, down-to-earth couple. Although they don't have a lot of 起伏 in life, like they don't have like 大风大浪, but they are very stable. Their work career progresses so well. The kids that they have doesn't give them problem and good health and everything. It's just very simple but nice. I understand this because I also realized that there are different people that we met before. We just want to see whether there's an answer for us to evolve and become that abundance, life that we always wanted. And in the feng shui matter, I think this is how we can also tell to boost it.
So over the years, from the so-called many experiences, 600 families and so on, one of the fastest way to know whether your house is auspicious or not just look for two things.
Okay.
Where is the location of your kitchen? And where is the location of your toilets? If your kitchen is located in the west, in the northwest, in the east and southeast, your household has a problem. And if it happens to be located in the southeast, someone in the family is losing hair very fast.
Wow. Okay.
Then how about the
That
toilets?
sounds like my husband.
How do we tell the direction?
To tell the direction, you just need to have a proper compass. Standing at the center of the floor plan, assuming you're at the center, you can easily plot out the 8 directions of the floor plan. So you just have to find out where is the location of the kitchen. The reference point is the center of the floor plan. You point at the kitchen, west, northwest, east, and southeast. 如果在 southeast 的话, unfortunately, someone in the house losing hair very fast. If it's in the east, your eldest son got problem. If it's in the west, you all can't communicate. And the worst thing, if it's in the northwest, you have financial issues.
So let's bring this to Terra Hill. Because earlier you mentioned that actually Terra Hill's layout is quite ideal. The plot of land you mentioned will Khao-san and all this. But what about the floor plan? Because I believe, we also want to take reference into Terra and see whether is it really good or not for most of us.
So Kelly was asking me to look at the Terra Hill floor plan objectively. 好还是不好? Squarish or not squarish? Let's have an unbiased view. So I open up the data. If you look at the 3 beders, the 4 beders, they are all squarish. Let me share another secret. When you look at a floor plan, 缺角是什么意思? Missing area means what? As a guide, you just draw a square and divide the square into 9 equal boxes. 我们所谓的9宫格啊. So inside the 9宫格, if one piece, 1 out of 9 is missing, or something close to the area of one piece, that floor plan has a missing area in that direction. That's called 缺角, 我们所谓的凹进去. But floor plan has another kind, which is auspicious. 我们叫做突出, protruding. If I look at the floor plan of Terra Hill, the 3-bedder especially has this 突出 feature, which is the main door. 现在重点是在哪里？我们要知道这个突出的大门在哪一个方位啊？这个方位可以代表 a member of the family and different layers of representation.
So if it protrudes out of this floor plan, that means there might be a bit of abundance lah. Is that what you mean?
The Chinese word is called 突出. 突出就是 outstanding in English. The member of the family which is represented by 这个方位 if it's in the family, is expected to be doing well in life. That's as far as the person is concerned. 当然，如果我们走到那个方位，那个流年 that coinciding Chinese zodiac year, you can expect someone in the household or everyone in the household to have outstanding results for the year.
Interesting.
Very interesting. It does happen.
Terra Hill is a Hoi Hub development, right? So
Yes.
Hoi Hub is also a very renowned developer. If I'm not wrong, I believe they also got see Feng Shui one.
Yes, because I've heard that they also integrated part of the Feng Shui aspect for the site plan. I think there's some numerology to it. Because I have did a slight digging online, and then people were talking about how many blocks, how many units altogether. I think it's part of their planning or perhaps marketing. And also, I just wanted to clarify one thing. So when you are saying that the squarish layout is more preferable,
Yes.
does it mean sometime that the dumbbell layout could be a better layout from a Feng Shui aspect?
It's a very subjective situation. 你要看到那个 floor plan, only then you can form a judgment whether it is 缺 or 突.
Okay.
There's a formula behind. We want it to be 特突. Best come to best, a squarish is good enough. Just now you were mentioning some numerology as far as construction site is concerned, what the developers has been doing. We don't focus a lot on numbers. We focus 100% on the floor plan and what is outside the floor plan. However, 难道说 all the units in Terra Hill is very auspicious due to the external environment?
Not true, right?
Not true, ma. The level which you eventually decide will determine the degree of auspiciousness your entire household will benefit. So obviously the question is, if you really want to invest in this project, is it a safe investment? Whether you are going to stay in it or whether you are buying it for investment, for rental yield and so on. So if you ask me this question, then I was straightforward, I'll tell you, choose the right level.
How to choose the right level?
Please give me a call.
I know it's not easy to comprehend this, and we have also talked about how can we better help you guys, because if you are really considering freehold versus leasehold, it's a big decision, especially when it comes to a location that, Terra Hill is situated at one of the most major development transformation in Singapore, which is Greater Southern Waterfront. And not to forget, in my webinar, I also talk about the increasing land betterment charge over that area as well, which means that it is for sure the land prices over there will be more and more higher as it goes along. And as the transformation in Greater Southern Waterfront becomes more and more advanced, the land prices there will also go through a round of escalation. Which means that if right now there is a gap for us to go into Terra Hill with a 17% gap, by the way, I don't even think it's 17% gap because Reef at Kingstock is going at...
I just saw it last night. For the past 1 year transaction, the 2-bed's median price is 2550, and for the 3-bed is almost 2007 PSF.
Wow. So we are actually seeing Terra Hill having a 2.6 plus PSF starting from, which means that below 3 million at 2.7, 2.8 million, we are able to get a 1,000 square feet above for 3-bedder, and that is equivalent with Reef at Kingstock price, which is a leasehold. Because of this very close gap, that's why I think it's really worth a consideration, but not to forget, we also need to be very sensible with our selection, and that's why he mentioned choose the right floor level. And don't know how to choose, it's okay, because at the bottom of our video, we have a QR code for you to scan. And if you feel that you could use some help with what Marrco is offering and some of our research that we have done, of course, we welcome any enquiries. The QR code is just at the bottom, you can scan it. So now, Marrco, in a summary in terms of Terra Hill, do you have any more tips for us?
Don't miss out on this fabulous project. I especially like the Southwest. And especially the East sector. Why? Because there are wealth creation, treasure, especially in the East. So 如果你到那个 rabbit years, you are expected to have wealth in some manner. And especially when it comes to the Southwest, which is synonymous with the big year and the dog year, the woman of the house is going to do well. You are expected to make a lot of money. And because the Southwest is so well supported, no one in the family will go hungry.
Wow.
好不好?
Wow, I'm excited just hearing this. Maybe Terence, you should just consider it.
In the future, yes. There's another question I've been wondering. This is tips for unit selection, right? But what about for existing homeowners who didn't know this back then? How can they actually salvage it if they find the placement of the kitchen, the toilet is not in their favor? So is there any tips?
Obviously, I'll share some since the Chinese New Year is around the corner.
Yeah.
You see, we are going into the 丙午年, which is the fire horse. So if you have been watching the YouTubes, there's a lot of scary tale to tell. It's going to be as worse as last year, even worse than 2025. These are big pictures. But when we talk about your current household, same thing, stand at the center of your floor plan, assuming you are there, measure out where is your 45 degrees south sector, 你的南的方位. We do not wish to see the toilet there. Number one, we do not wish it to be missing. 所谓的缺格. We do not want to see a community center outside the south sector. But we really want to see a church, a place of worship, because that represents wealth to you, to the household. So if you happens to be staying on the 3rd floor, the 4th floor, 5th and 11th, I expect you to do well this year.
Wow.
But if you happens to be staying on the 6th floor, you know the unit number, you have a 06-XX, 6th floor and the 14th floor, you may have a problem this year. So how do you relate? I'm basically sharing something about the future. How do I relate? You look back in the year 2023, which is a rabbit year. Now, let's say you were staying on level 1, 2, 9, 10. You're staying on these 4 levels. You're likely to have job changes. Your elder son may have issues. You may have an unsmooth 2023. If you can relate to what I have just mentioned, you really need to give us a call. I'll tell you a solution.
That's very valuable.
So to sum it up, actually the general site plan, the facing the direction of Terra Hill is sort of favorable in
Yes.
Feng Shui aspect.
Yes.
But the important part is the unit selection, because different stack has different facing. You're facing towards maybe like community center that you just mentioned. Maybe you are facing a place of worship, then it represents wealth for the
Yes.
owners. So it really depends on the facing itself, apart from the general site plan.
It's more like the feng wei facing
So,
rather than
feng
the
wei
house facing. There's 8 facing. So your 8 facing, what kind of 物品？我们所谓的物品 schools, hospitals, community centers, police station, petrol station, and so on, MRT, it has a direct impact on your luck outside the house. But if your house inside already 有一个缺的话, it affects the luck inside the house.
So there's in and out.
In and out. Okay.
We all know generally there's one facing, but in Feng Shui, the real facing is the 8 facing. 8个方位就有8个 facing 咯。
Wow. If you guys are very confused, just as I am, you know where to find us. With that, we have finished our Terra Hill assessment. Okay, so very important. I want to ask you, I remember you mentioned you have this checklist that is super powerful, that you use it to assess individual condo projects. Which one have more rating and which one has less, and what to look out for. So with this checklist that you have curated, how would you rate Terra Hill?
On a scale of 1 to 5, I'll rate it as at least a 4.
Oh,
It cannot be 5,
yeah.
but it cannot be 3. So based on the checklist, because it's a very dynamic situation, 你不单只是要看里面，你要看外面。So what does this mean? As far as your floor plan is concerned, which is internal, but as far as your 外局, what is outside the house, not too far away, something like 300 meters away, it has a direct impact on you outside the house. So 你在去做工的时候，你在外面的时候的运气，或者你出国公干会好吗？还是不好？ and so on. So if I were to use the checklist, which is a very elementary guide to do a self-assessment on your own, more or less you will have a big picture, a big understanding of whether this particular project or wherever you are now, your current house, can make it or cannot make it as far as Feng Shui is concerned.
So we are rating Terra Hill as a 4 out of 5. If you are curious to know how does the assessment come about and his powerful checklist, you can scan the QR code and then we will send it along your way. And moving forward, we'll be doing plenty of other Feng Shui talks on other projects. And I think the next one we're going to talk about is River Modern. So if River Modern is one of the projects that you are also considering, then I think you have to wait and tune into our second episode on Feng Shui Talks. And this time around will be River Modern, and we'll hear from the great master what is his take about it. With that, I think we can end off our episode 1 of Feng Shui Talk. See you next round.
Bye. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.